Brahmsako Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Ganadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Gauranga Ki Jai Shri Manama Dam Ki Jai Mathura Dam Ki Jai Navadi Dam Ki Jai Jagannath Puri Dam Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Yamuna Mai Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Harinam Sankirtan Yagya Ki Jai Grandra Shrimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai Somaveda Bhaktavinda Ki Jai Nitai Gaura Premanandi Hari 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 All glories to the Sambodhi Bodhis All glories to the Sambodhi Bodhis Hare Krishna All glories to the Sambodhi Bodhis Hare Krishna All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga All glories to Srila Prabhupada Pranay Krishna Vistaya Uttare Shmara Bhakti Vedanta Sagarina Namana Namaste Saraswati Devi Guru Mani Brachari Janir Vishesha Shmari Krishna Hare Krishna, welcome everybody. This is the Srimad Bhagavatam class. We're reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam edition, translated and commented upon by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. First canto, 15th chapter, text number 16. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Yadoshuma pranihitam Guru Bhishma Karna.
Yadoshuma pranihitam Guru Bhishma Karna.
Naptri Trigartar Sao Saidava Bhatikadai.
Naptri Trigarta Shalya Saindava Balikadai.
Astranya Moga Mahimani Nirupitani.
Astranya Moga Mahimani Nirupitani.
Naupashpishura Ori Harida Samiva Asurani.
Navasrishurmrihari dasamiva surani.
Yadoshuma pranihitam Guru Bhishma Karna.
Yadoshuma pranihitam Guru Bhishma Karna.
Naptri Trigarta Shalya Saindava Balikadhyai.
Naptri Trigarta Shalya Saindava Balikadhyai.
Astranya Moga Mahimani Nirupitani.
Astranya Moga Mahimani Nirupitani.
Nopas Prishur Nriharidasa Mivasurani.
Nopas Prishur Nrihari Dasamiva Surani.
Yadoshuma pranihitam Guru Bhishma Karna.
Yadoshuma pranihitam Guru Bhishma Karna.
Naptri Trigarta Shalya Saindava Valikadhyai.
Naptri Nirgatar Sao Sandava Badikadai.
Astranya Moga Mahimani Nirupitani.
Astranya Moga Mahimani Nirupitani.
Nopasprishu Hari Dasami Basurani.
Nopas Prishur Nrihari Dasamiva Surani. Yadosuma pranihitam Guru Bhishma Karna.
Yadoshuma pranihitam Guru Bhishma Karna.
Natri Trigarta Salya Saindava Balikadiya.
Natri Trigatar Sadava Barikadai.
Astranya Moga Mahimani Nirupitani.
Astranya Moga Mahinani Nirupitani.
Nopas Prisur Nrihari Dasam Iva Surani.
Na Upashpishur Nirahiradasamiva Asurani. Yad. On the whose. Doshu. Protection of arms.
Protection of arms.
Pranihitam. Sorry, Ma Pranihitam.
Ma pranihitam.
Myself being situated.
Myself being situated.
Guru.
Guru.
Dronacharya.
Dronacharya.
Bhishma.
Bhishma.
Of the name.
Of the name.
Karna.
Karna.
Of the name.
Of the name.
Naptri.
Naptri.
Burishrava.
Burishrava.
Trigartar.
Trigarta,
King Susarma,
King Susharma,
Susharma,
Sal,
Shal,
Salya,
Shalya,
Saidhava,
Saintava,
King Jaidrat,
King Jayadra,
Jaita,
Balika,
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 brother of Maharaj Santanu,
brother of Maharaj Santanu,
Bhishma's father,
Vishnu's
his
father,
father,
Aidai,
Adiyai,
etc.
etc.
Astrani,
Astrani,
weapons,
weapons,
Amoga,
Amoga,
invincible,
invincible,
Mahimani,
Mahimani,
very powerful,
very powerful,
Nirupitani,
Nirupitani,
applied,
applied,
Upaprishu,
Upasrishu,
touch,
touch,
Nriharidasam,
Nirayasam,
servitor of Nashingadev, Pralat,
servant of Nishingadev Prahlad,
Eva,
Iva,
like
like
Asurani,
Asurani,
weapons applied by the demon.
weapons applied by the demon.
Translation: great generals like Bhishma, Drona, Karna, Burishava, Susarma, Salya, Jayadratha, Palika, etc. all applied their invincible weapons upon me. But by his, Lord Krishna's grace, they could not even touch my hair. Just as Prahlad Maharaj, the supreme devotee of Lord Nrsingadeva, was the least affected by the weapons used by the demons upon him. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Jai.
The history of Prahlad Maharaj, the great devotee of Nrsingadeva, is narrated in the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Prahlad Maharaj, a small child of 5 years only, became the object of enviousness of his great father Hiranyakashipu for his only fault of becoming a pure devotee of the Lord. The demon father applied all his weapons for killing the devotee son Prahlad, but by the grace of the Lord, he was saved from all sorts of dangerous actions by his father. He was thrown in the fire in boiling oil from top of the hill underneath the legs of an elephant, administered poison, and at last the father himself took up a chopper to kill his own son. And thus Nrsingadeva appeared and killed the heinous father before the son. Thus nobody can kill the devotee of the Lord. And similarly Arjuna was also saved by the Lord, although all dangerous weapons were applied on him by his great opponents like Bhishma, etc. Karna, born of Kunti by the sun god prior to her marriage with Maharaj Pandu. Karna took his birth with bangles and earrings, extraordinary signs for an undaunted hero. In the beginning, his name was Vashushena. But when he grew up, he presented his natural bangles and earrings to Indradeva, and thenceforward his name became famous as Vaikartan. After his birth from Maidan, Kunti, he was thrown in the Ganges water, and later he was picked up by Adirat. And he and his wife Radha brought up him as their own offspring. Karna was very much munificent in charity, and especially for the Brahmins. There was nothing which he could not spare for the Brahmin. In the same spirit of charitable disposition, he gave in charity his natural bangles and earrings to Indradeva, who, being very much satisfied with him, gave him in return a great weapon of the name Shakti. He was admitted as one of the students of Dronacharya, and from the very beginning there was some rivalry between him and Arjuna. Seeing his constant rivalry with Arjuna, Duryodhana picked him up as his companion, which gradually grew into greater intimacy. He was also present in the great assembly of Draupadi's Syamvara function, and when he attempted to exhibit his talent in that meeting, Draupadi's brother declared in the meeting that Karna could not take part in the competition on account of his becoming the son of Shudra carpenter. Although he was refused in the competition, still, when Arjuna was successful in piercing the target of fish and wheel on the ceiling, and Draupadi bestowed her garland to Arjuna, Karna and others disappointed princes offered an unusual stumbling block to Arjuna while he was taking with them Draupadi. Specifically, Karna fought with him very valiantly, but all of them were defeated by him. Duryodhana was very much pleased with Karna on account of his constant rivalry with Arjuna. And when he was in power of the earthly kingdom, he enthroned Karna in the state of Anga. Being baffled in his attempt to win over Draupadi, he advised Duryodhana to attack King Drupad, and after defeating him, both Arjuna and Draupadi could be arrested. But Dronacharya rebuked them for such conspiracy, and they refrained from the action. Karna was defeated many times, not only by Arjuna, but also by Bhimshena. He was the king of the then kingdom of Bengal, Orissa, and Madras combined together. Later on, he took active part in the Rajasuya sacrifice of Maharaj Yudhishthir, and when there was gambling chess between the rival brothers designed by Shakuni, Karna took part in the game, and he was very pleased when Draupadi was offered as bet in the gambling to feed his old grudge. When Draupadi was in the game, he was very enthusiastic in declaring the news, and it is he who ordered Dushasan to take away the garments of both Pandavas and Draupadi. She asked Draupadi to select another husband because being lost by the Pandavas, she was rendered a slave of the Kurus. He was always a dead enemy of the Pandavas, and whenever there was an opportunity, he wanted to curb them down by all means. During the battle of Kurukshetra, he foresaw the conclusive result of the battle, and he expressed his opinion that due to Lord Krishna being the chariot driver of Arjuna, the battle should be won by him. He was always in difference of opinion with Bhishma, and sometimes he said that he would not fight till Bhishma was living. And he was proud enough to say that within 5 days only he could finish up the Pandavas and fight if Bhishma would not interfere with his plan of action. But he was too much mortified when Bhishma died. He killed Ghatotkacha by his Shakti weapon obtained from Indradeva. His son Bhrishasena was killed by Arjuna. He killed the largest number of soldiers of the Pandavas. At last, there was severe fight with Arjuna, and it is he only who was able to drop the helmet of Arjuna. But it so happened that the wheel of his chariot became stuck in the battlefield mud, and when he got down to set the wheel right, Arjuna took the opportunity and killed him, although he requested Arjuna not to do so. Naptri, or Burishrava. Burishrava was the son of Somadut, a member of the Kuru family. His other brother was Shalya. Both the brothers and the father also attained the Sayambara ceremony of Draupadi. All of them appreciated the wonderful strength of Arjuna due to his becoming the devotee friend of the Lord, and thus Burishrava advised the sons of Dhritarashtra not to pick up any quarrel with, nor to fight with them. All of them also attended the Rajasuya Yagya of Maharaj Yudhishthir. He possessed one full Akshanini regiment of army, cavalry, elephants, chariots, and all these were employed in the battle of Kurukshetra on behalf of the Duryodhana's party. He was counted by Bhima as one of the Yudhapatis. In the battle of Kurukshetra, he was specially engaged in fight with Satyaki, and he killed 10 sons of Satyaki. Later on, Arjuna cut off his hands, and he was ultimately killed by Satyaki. After his death, he merged into the existence of Vishwadeva. Trigarta, or Susarma, son of Maharaj Bridakshetra and the king of Trigarta Desha, and he was also present in the Sayambara ceremony of Draupadi. One of the allies of Duryodhana, and he advised Duryodhana to attack the Matsya Desha, Darbhanga, during the time of cow stealing in Virat Nagar. He was able to arrest Maharaj Virat, but later on Maharaj Virata was released by Bhima, and in the battle of Kurukshetra he also fought very valiantly, but at the end he was killed by Arjuna. Jayadrat, another son of Maharaj Bridrakshetra, and was the king of Sindhu, modern Sindh, Pakistan, Desha. And his wife's name was Dushava. He was also present in the Swayamvara ceremony of Draupadi and desired very strongly to have the hand of beautiful Draupadi. But he failed in the competition game, thus failed to have the celebrated princess as his wife. But since then, he sought always the opportunity of getting in touch with Draupadi. When he was going to marry in the Salya Desha on the way at Kamyaban, he happened to see Draupadi again and was too much attracted by her. The Pandavas and Draupadi were then in exile after losing empire in gambling, and Jayadratha thought it wise to send news to Draupadi in an illicit manner through Kotisha Shya, an associate of Jayadratha. Draupadi at once referred vehemently the proposal of Jayadratha, but being too much attracted by the beauty of Draupadi, he tried for it again and again. Every time being refused by Draupadi, he tried to take her away forcibly on his chariot, and at first Draupadi gave him a good dashing, and he fell like a cut root tree. But he did not get it. Disappointed, and was able to force Draupadi to sit on the chariot. This incident was seen by Dumya Muni, and he strongly protested against the action of Jayadratha. He also followed the chariot, and through Datrayak, the matter was brought to the notice of Maharaj Yudhishthira. The Pandavas then attacked the soldiers of Jayadratha and killed them all, and at last Bhima caught hold of Jayadratha and had beaten him very severely, as almost dead. Then he was made bareheaded with 5 hair spots on the skull, and was taken to all the kings to introduce him as the slave of Maharaj Yudhishthira. He was forced to admit himself as the slave of Maharaj Yudhishthira before all the princely order, and in the same condition he was brought before Maharaj Yudhishthira. Maharaj Yudhishthira was kind enough to order him get released, and when he admitted to become a tributary prince only under Maharaj Yudhishthira, Queen Draupadi also desired that he should be released. After this incident, he was allowed to return back to his country. Being too much insulted like this, he went to Gangotri in the Himalaya and undertook a severe type of penance to please Lord Shiva and asked his benediction for defeating all the Pandavas at least one time. Then the battle of Kurukshetra began, and he took side with Duryodhana, and in the first day's fight he was engaged with Maharaj Drupad, then with Virata, and then with Abhimanyu. While Abhimanyu was being killed mercilessly, surrounded by 7 great generals, and the boy was fighting alone, the Pandavas came to his help, but Jayadratha, by the mercy of Lord Shiva, repulsed them with great ability. On this, Arjuna took a vow to kill him, and on hearing this, he wanted to go away from the war field and ask permission from the Kauravas for his cowardly action. But he was not allowed to do this act of cowardice. But on the contrary, he was obliged to fight with Arjuna by all sides, and while the fight was going on, Lord Krishna reminded Arjuna that causing the fall down of the head of Jayadratha means death of the killer. That was the benediction of Shivaji upon him, that whoever could cut his head would die at once with the falling of Jayadratha's head on the ground. He therefore advised Arjuna to throw the head of Jayadratha directly on the lap of his father, who was engaged in penances at Samantapanchak pilgrimage. This was actually done by Arjuna. Jayadratha's father was at once surprised to see a cut head on his lap, and as soon as he threw it on the ground, the father also died at once on account of his forehead being cracked in 7 pieces. Om Agyan Tirinandasya Yanajana Shalakayam Chakshunan Manidam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my spiritual master is divine grace. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada has opened my darkened eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my humble obeisances unto his lotus feet. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Jai.
So, very exciting pastimes, eh? Cut off his head, throw it in the lap of his father. His father also threw it somewhere and immediately died on the spot. Cracked in 7 pieces. Unbelievable. So, these are the Kshatriya pastimes. Very stalwart men, very strong, very stout and strong. Also very rough. This Karna was envious of Bhishma. Bhishma was the general, actually. And Karna was challenging that, I will not fight unless Bhishma dies, because he will interfere. I have a better idea. I have a better idea. So this is demoniac. I have a better idea than the authority. Bhishma Deva was the authority. He was the general. Especially in war, everyone must follow the general. In Russia, there was this fight against the Germans, Second World War. And it was so tough that the soldiers were coming back. They didn't want to fight. They didn't want to follow the orders. So the commander, he ordered that these coward soldiers, they must be killed. They would shoot their own soldiers. Why? Because one bad element spoils the whole army. Just like there's a saying that one rotten apple spoils the whole basket. It would show a bad example. The morale, the enthusiasm of the other soldiers would be diminished if they saw that, these soldiers are giving up the fight. We naturally want to give up fight. We want to give up. The mode of ignorance is to give up, to slack off. Nowadays, it is considered to be cool, actually. The mode of ignorance is considered to be cool. Just like they say, there's a line, there's a sentence. People say, I don't care. Sometimes, you know. What do you think about the politics? I don't care. Oh, he is cool. He doesn't care. Why are you dressed like this? You look like an idiot. I don't care. Oh, wow, he's really cool. So this careless attitude is actually glorified. Especially nowadays. Or another line is, whatever. It's a real drum concert there. Another line is, whatever. Whatever. You have no job, your family is starving, whatever. Oh, he is very cool. Whatever. Right? It's considered to be very cool to be careless.
Go to the concert and I don't care.
Yeah. I don't care about anything. So this is mode of ignorance. This carelessness. I don't care about anything. So the Kshatriyas, even Krishna tells Arjuna, don't be lethargic. Don't degrade into this. Specifically, Krishna explains that you have to elevate this mode of passion to mode of goodness by proper engagement in Krishna consciousness. Everyone has some passion, you know. You have some passion. I want to do this or that. That differs for every person. Everyone has a different passion. So one should engage in whatever passion he has, he should do that. But under the guidance of the Guru. Not for the sense gratification. I work hard and then I enjoy the fruits. Not like that. You engage the fruits in Krishna's service under the guidance of the bona fide spiritual master. You must know what is devotional service also. Not that blindly you engage the fruits. You must know. If you do not know, if you blindly giving up the results, just like sometimes they give money for the hospitals or to the hungry, or I don't know, so many philanthropic. This is ignorance. Why? Because that doesn't help anyone. You might, for the time being, ameliorate the problems of the body. Little tiny improvement. But then again, by the laws of karma, these people have to suffer anyway. The real help is to give them Krishna consciousness. So if one engages the mode of passion under the guidance of the Guru with knowledge, then that mode of passion does not degrade. It is purified. And one becomes a pure devotee of Krishna by doing this. This is a very simple process. Whatever talent you have, whatever energy you have, use it for Krishna. But if we do not act upon our propensities, if we try to imitate, oh, he had so much money for being a lawyer. Let me also become a lawyer. Not because I have the propensity, but because I want the money. I'm sure that in the tattoo industry, there are so many people like that.
I just spoke about that in the first video.
Okay. There are no propensity, nothing, no artistic skills, no patience, zero. I want to be a tattoo artist because he sees, oh, the tattoo artist is very much praised. So I want the praise, but I don't want to do the work. Similarly, preaching is the same thing. Everyone wants to preach. Everyone wants to give some conclusion. Oh, it is like this, it is like that, and this should be done. Prabhupada at one point he complained about the Indians. The Indians, generally speaking, of course there are also good devotees in India. But generally, just like there's some general traits in every nation, Prabhupada explains, the Jews, the general trade is their business, into business, money, banking, like that. The blacks are thieves, Prabhupada said. The Indians, their general trait is that they want to give free advice, but no practical help. They want to instruct. I know this, you have to do like this, and you have to do. He has no idea. He have taken some, from his family priest, some nonsense, and he's instructing like that.
Why will I put down the
Huh?
Why do I put down the altar?
Yeah, something like that. So Prabhupada said, this is useless. You help practically. Practically, you give help. Not like a nonsense. Giving advice, instructing. If you want to instruct, you become a preacher. You dedicate your life. But no, I have no time for this. I have to work hard to make a marriage for my children. That is very important. Not Krishna temple, marriage. To give a nice dowry. The Indian people, I remember in Montreal, they showed us our landlord, his wife her, how do you say, the dress for the wedding was full of gold, bedecked with gold. This is also good, actually. Marriage, of course, this is a Vedic ceremony that should be observed very nicely. We don't condemn that, but if you give up Krishna consciousness for this, then you are very unfortunate. So in preaching also, if you want to give advice, if you want to instruct people, then you have to follow the principles. You have to be authorized. You have to be qualified. Like that. You have to develop knowledge. You have to study. Not give half truths. No, I have half studied the Bhagavad Gita. I know 50%. Now you finish the job. You study thoroughly the conclusion, everything, 100%. Then you can preach. Then you can give advice. But everyone wants to take the credit, and everyone wants to instruct. Everyone wants to control other people's lives. So this will not be successful. Then one will descend into ignorance. Because he's not utilizing his propensity to serve Krishna. You have certain propensity. Everyone has. According to our physio-psychological setup, we have different propensity. So you must find out what is your propensity and engage it in Krishna. Then you'll be very happy. You'll be happy by performing such an activity. You will not be doing it for the result. That is important. Then you can transcend. But if you imitate, you neglect your own propensity, you degrade into ignorance. Very dangerous. Krishna says it is better that you perform your propensity with some imperfections. There is always some imperfection, just like Krishna says that when there's fire, there's also smoke. So every work also is covered by some sort of a fault. Nothing can be perfect. They're criticizing Tulsi, that she is for the abortions and she is for the gay rights, gay marriage, and so many things. So, yes, there might be some flaw. This is utopian to expect perfection in the Kali Yuga. In a society that is based on sense gratification, how you want to expect the topmost standard of purity? That means that you are mudha, you are a fool. There's always some flaw. Don't expect that everything will be perfect. Even look at Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada, there cannot be anyone more perfect than Srila Prabhupada. But his movement has been damaged. Now his movement has turned into people who complain about everything. And no one can complain more than the devotees. Just look at the internet. It's filled up with complaints. There are tons and tons of websites simply complaining and finding flaws and errors. So you must tolerate. Some flaw is there, but you engage in your propensity. That is what Krishna is looking for. He is not looking at how perfectly you do your service. You cannot perfectly serve Krishna. That is another utopian idea. I will make everything perfect. Then you cannot. Your perfection is to develop love for Krishna. That is the perfection. What service you do, that is, of course, we should not offer some nonsense service. There are some guidelines. But ultimately, it is the love Krishna accepts. Just like he says, whoever offers me leaf, water, flower, fruit, I will accept it. If it is offered with love, not otherwise. Similarly, he says, Yesham satatam yuktanam vajatam pritipurvakam. One who serves me with love, and there Prabhupada in this purport, Prabhupada explains that one should serve according to his propensity. Then Krishna says, I will give him the intelligence by which he can come to me very fast. Very fast he can go back home, back to Godhead. That is possible. So this idea of love is very important. So we serve with love. This morning I was reading, Prabhupada also says, chanting, when you do your japa, don't do it officially. That, oh, I have to do my 60 rounds, okay. Some or other, it's done, okay. I did my job, leave me alone. No. You must chant with love. This is Krishna. When I chant Hare Krishna, this is Krishna directly. And this is Radha. Hare means Radha. So Radha and Krishna. I am in direct presence of Radha and Krishna. Now, we have to be very careful how we chant our rounds. Why this number 16 is there? Why are we counting the rounds? Because we have to practice this. This love needs to be practiced. It doesn't come just like that. It's very difficult. So you need lots of practice. So Prabhupada says minimum 16 rounds you do. If you do 16 rounds, that means that you're serious. Yes, I want to practice this love. And if you don't want to do, then you don't want to practice love for Krishna. You don't want to love Krishna. You love something else in this world. Some phantasmagoria. So everyone must engage in the service of Krishna. Then he'll be very happy and he will not be looking for anything else. As soon as you look for anything else, then your happiness is finished. As soon as you develop some nonsense desire, you become anxious to fulfill it. And then your whole happiness in Krishna consciousness is lost. Then you become disturbed. And when you're disturbed, then you're looking for flaws. Not in yourself, in others. There's a justification. Instead of solving the problem at the root, you go and you justify, oh, it's because of this. It's because of that. And this person, he's a big rascal. And because of him, I cannot chant my rounds. And because of him, This is nonsense. They complain like this. All these gurus in ISKCON. Because they have destroyed so many lives, so many spiritual lives they have destroyed. What kind of spiritual life is that? That it is destroyed by some nonsense. What kind of spiritual life you had? That was not spiritual life. That was sense gratification. Why did you accept such a bogus cheater? No, Prabhupada also, he challenged. You cannot complain about the government because you have voted. You have democracy. It's your fault also. Don't try to blame the leaders. The leaders, cheaters, don't blame them only. You are also responsible. Cheaters and cheated, they go in hand. Right? So they complain, but never complain about their own anarthas. So, here in this shloka, Arjuna again is emphasizing this point. Without the mercy of Krishna, nothing is possible. And with the mercy of Krishna, he was able to defeat all these great warriors without any problems. Without any problems. So we should always pray that this mercy is not removed. It will be removed if we make offenses to the devotees. To be very careful around devotees. Don't take it lightly. This is some fairy tale about these offenses to the devotees. Oh, I offended and nothing happened to me. Just wait. It's coming. The punishment is coming. The punishment comes in the form of lack of taste for Krishna. Again, this imitation, right? Jai. Imitation is there because we're envious. Oh, I also want to have that sort of praise. So by enviousness, we cannot learn anything. We cannot progress. We should not be envious. And we make offenses. And when we're envious, we don't perform our dharma, what we're supposed to do for Krishna. And we lose our taste. You see? Everything scientific, everything fits like a puzzle, right? There's the puzzle and game, so everything fits together very nicely. All the pieces of puzzle, Prabhupada explains everything for us. Like a house of cards. You take one card, the whole thing falls down. You disobey one thing, one tiny little instruction, you say, oh, this is not important, we're not going to follow that. Don't be fanatic. Your whole sadhana is finished. Everything breaks down. There's no way. You cannot. Arjuna is exhibiting what is surrender. He says, everything you have told me, I accept in total. I don't pick whatever I like. I accept everything you say, Krishna. He's showing us how to advance in Krishna consciousness, Arjuna. Alright, so, any questions? Did you share this on Facebook, or are there any comments on Facebook maybe?
Did you share this book? Did you share this stream?
Yes. On Facebook? Yes. And YouTube or on Facebook? On Facebook they didn't say anything, and on YouTube I think Purujit is watching the...
Yeah, there's nothing.
Yo tengo una pregunta. Entonces,
Yeah.
¿cómo los devotos deben tolerar cuando alguien no está haciendo algo bien?
Como bien.
Sí. O sea, o que lo hace sin...
Porque están haciendo algo.
Ajá, algo así.
How a devotee how a devotee should tolerate when somebody is
Always doing the same. El mismo error.
Doing what?
the same mistake. Something to hear.
In the service? Well, you have to tolerate. You know, we're just like we're now developing the habits of chanting 60 rounds, right? We develop a habit, and then you can't go without it. You have to chant 60 rounds. You just, even if they stop you, you again chant your 60 rounds. So in the same way, we're accustomed to do some nonsense in the material world. It takes some time. Even though we know it's bad, it should not be done. We're accustomed. It's like, how do you call this? How do you say zotrvačnosť? Okay, let's say you wind up.
The fan.
Yeah. Well, there was this. I remember there was this kind of like a tiny little chicken toy, and you would wind up with a key, and then the chicken would move. Right. So we're kind of like wound up to engage in nonsense. So it takes some time until the movement ceases. So we have to be tolerant. Very tolerant. The modes are pushing us in a certain direction. So in the beginning, we instruct everyone to chant Hare Krishna. Because what does it mean, this Hare Krishna mantra? O Krishna, O Radharani, please engage me in your service. See, we're serving the modes of material nature. It is impossible to stop immediately. So we're asking Krishna, please, you engage me in your service. In your service. You also have to understand this from like a higher perspective. That we're being engaged by Srimati Radharani in Krishna's service. It is not so easy. Sometimes you see people come here and they just can't chant. You say, chant Hare Krishna, and they just don't chant. I say, come on, chant, and they can't do it. Such a simple thing. And that because Srimati Radharani is not engaging them. She's not engaging. They need some more time. It's not possible that, oh, I will do it. Srimati Radha is not engaging, but I'm going to manage. We should not be so puffed up. That's why we have this offense. One should not preach about the glories of the holy name to the faithless. But the faithless can be still engaged. They can be given prasadam and you can chant for them. They will not chant, but you can chant for them, they will hear. But don't try to preach about the glories of the holy name. And don't try to engage them. That is there, so we curb down our controlship propensity. That offense is there. Trinarapi sunichena tarorapi saishnun amanina manadena kirtanya sadhari. This is the formula. Lord Chaitanya is giving us advice. How to chant 24 hours. Kirtanya sadhari. We must come to the point of chanting 24 hours if we want to go back to Godhead. So this 16 rounds, if we cannot do, then just consider what is our position. You must chant 24 hours, not 2 hours, 24 hours. No sleeping, no eating. This is the standard if you want to go back to Godhead. So Lord Chaitanya is giving us the formula. You must be more tolerant than a tree, more humble than a blade of grass, giving praise to others. I mentioned this before. We have to learn the art of how to encourage devotees. How to encourage, how to over-glorify their service, especially new devotees. You must over-glorify their service. Even they do something that is complete nonsense, you have to glorify it. Because that will keep them, they need this. And these devotees, like for example, Makanchur, they should not be glorified because they don't need it. They become spoiled if you over-glorify them. Then you have to chastise. But in the beginning, you have to over-glorify. Just like someone, like this, some lady wants to come. I don't know if she's come, I don't know if she's going to come or not. But suppose she comes. No, it's the first time in the temple. So if she brings a flower, you have to say, wow, thank you so much. You have to really, this is preaching. That will stay with her. Then she will remember, oh, they appreciate service so much. Okay, let me do it again. And by service, she becomes attracted to Krishna. By service, if you serve Krishna, you get, you feel ecstatic. Krishna will give you pleasure, transcendental ecstasy. So anyway, it's very complex, but yeah, we have to be tolerant. Also, you can ask, why are you doing this? You can politely ask, excuse me, I noticed that you always smoke a cigarette before you come to the love feast. Why you do this? Please tell me. Why is it so good? It's smoke. It's very bad for health. And by asking, you make him think, oh, right, yeah, it's nonsense. Why am I even doing this? Instead of saying, why are you doing this? You're nonsense. Stop it, stop it, stop it. You can ask him, why are you doing it? Make him analyze his position. Alright? Anything else? I know from experience that you can really turn crazy. If someone is doing something repeatedly, some nonsense, and you tell him, please can you not do it? Please can you not do it? Please can you not do it? Then you become more agitated. And the problem is not solved. Your mind becomes disturbed. He is not changing. He becomes also disturbed. So you can tell maybe once, twice, but after the third time, you have to tolerate. Or if he's doing some real nonsense, then you have to tell him to go away.
Like the guy who broke the deity from Prabhupada.
Oh boy.
That you don't even say anything immediately.
There's no second there. There's on the first take.
Excuse me, sir, could you leave, please?
Could you leave your body? I'm gonna help you.
Alright, thank you for watching. Thank you for attending the class. Krantaraj Shrimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanandi, Hari 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 Bol. Prabhu, how do I turn off? Here? Okay, Hare Krishna.
Yeah.